Doraemon borrowed 100 yen from Nobita. Then he immediately tossed the coin into the bushes. Next, he pulled out a treasure detector. The gadget can detect treasures within a 100-meter radius, but after searching around the bushes several times, it didn't detect anything. That's when Doraemon remembered that it can only detect treasures worth more than 1,000 yen. Feeling guilty, he decided to take Nobita in search of a treasure worth 100 million yen. The two of them went home, grabbed a shovel and a pickaxe, and set off on their treasure hunt. Before long, they arrived at Jengaro Mountain. Legend says there's 20 million yen worth of gold buried there. They searched the mountain with the treasure detector, but after a long time, it still found nothing. Just as they were about to search elsewhere, they heard the sound of digging. Thinking someone had beaten them to the treasure, they rushed over, only to find an old man working in his field. After leaving, they kept searching, but the detector still stayed silent. Nobita started complaining again. Just then, the detector suddenly beeped, following its signal. They arrived at the front of a house. The detector indicated that the treasure was right there, so they started digging in the yard. Soon, they unearthed a jar. Inside wasn't gold, but a bank passbook. Just then, someone shouted angrily. It was the old man from earlier. He demanded to know how they had found the spot where he hid his passbook. Realizing what had happened, they hurriedly put the passbook back, buried the jar again, and ran away without looking back. Not long after they left, the detector picked up another signal. This time, it pointed straight at a man's backpack. Curious, Doraemon asked if he was carrying 100 million yen. The man told them to mind their own business, and quickly ran off. The two of them became suspicious and decided to follow him. They ended up back at the old man's house. Sure enough, the backpack really did contain 100 million yen. The man wanted to buy the mountain, but the old man refused to sell it because of his sentimental attachment. With no other choice, the man left. Just then, dark clouds rolled in, but Nobita and Doraemon still hadn't found the treasure. A heavy downpour began. They hurried to find shelter. At that moment, the treasure detector beeped again. They decided to trust it one last time. Soon, they arrived at the site of a landslide. The detector pointed right at the debris. Doraemon guessed that the rain had washed the treasure down the mountain. Excited, they immediately started digging. Before long, Nobita uncovered a bundle of cash. At the same time, Doraemon pulled out a backpack stuffed with money. The backpack looked strangely familiar. Suddenly, they heard someone calling for help from beneath the dirt. They quickly dug toward the voice and pulled out the same man who had wanted to buy the mountain. To thank them for saving his life, he offered them 2 stacks of cash. Nobita was thrilled, but Doraemon felt awkward about accepting such a large reward, so he politely said, "It's too much. We can't accept it." He secretly hoped the man would insist, so he could accept it without feeling guilty. Instead, the man simply took out a box of snacks from his backpack and handed it to them. Then he walked away. The two of them stood there in disbelief. The fortune they had almost received had turned into a box of inexpensive snacks. Nobita was furious. What they didn't know, however, was that the legendary treasure was buried right beneath their feet.